Darling, what a pleasure to see you. Have you come to pay respects on our annual Dios de los Muertos? Oh, such a lovely, terrifying opportunity to once again be in the presence of our most devious family members. Yes. Has Lurcher given you a tour already? But he has not escorted you down to our torture chamber in the basement. Oh, where we have the oldest, most electrifying collection of medieval torture devices. Yes, my darling Gomez and our Uncle Fester will be more than glad to demonstrate them for you this afternoon, right before the rest of the guests arrive. Oh, I assure you it will be their pleasure. Now, I am guessing there is another alternate motive. You so eagerly walked into my chambers. Oh, you want me to make you look presentable for our guests? Oh, absolutely. As you know, I have the most extensive collection of mortuary makeup. Oh yes, the eyeshadow I am wearing right now was the same one applied to my Aunt Aurora's funeral. Oh yes, she looked even more dead than she actually was. Oh yes. Due to my visions, I will be able to foresee my own death, to know how to properly do my makeup myself, right before my inevitable demise. Oh, do not worry, darling. No color is my specialty. Would you please sit down and relax? Oh, let me look at your hair. Fortunately, all the Addams family members have been blessed with the deadliest of jet black hair. Except for my dear Aunt Tally's daughter. Alas, I have seen in a vision that her baby ought to be born a blonde. She was only 4 months pregnant. And all of my charcoal and arsenic tea was in vain, because alas, she was still born blonde. Poor thing couldn't take it and shaved her head immediately, upon birth. However, Uncle Fester's and Wednesday's grave-digging escapades have gathered more than enough darkest corpse hair to weave an impeccable wig for her dear daughter. I shall show you some family pictures right after our party. Now, darling, are you in the mood for a decadent that look? Or are we going for something more evening, like a half-decaying corpse? Oh, I knew you would be such an amazing addition to our family. A fully decaying corpse. Oh, you're just trying to flatter me now. Well, as much as you try, Gomez will always be one step ahead of you, my darling. He always is. Mon chéri. Okay. You are a little too hairy, unfortunately. So I'm going to tie your hair back with this black hair tie made from the finest spider silk. It is very good for your hair, hence why mine is very silky. Oh, thank you. Now come here. Oh, do not worry, darling. Adam's hair does not need brushing. Oh, is that sound now reminiscent of fingers of a dear, excuse me. Looks I have some remnants of my blood tea from earlier. The little sounds reminiscent of things little finger pitter-patter all across the room. You can hear it, but you will never see him. Come here, darling. Let me gather up your wonderful silky hair. Now that I can see your face, I am incredibly pleased to find such dark circles. Have you not been sleeping well, my darling? Oh, you have been terrorized by the most wonderful of nightmares. Oh, those nights are the best, are they not? I have been haunted by multiple nightmares last night myself. It was absolutely magical. Now, let's start with some clown white powder. Oh, my darling, you do not want to wear foundation. Why would you want to cover those sunken-in eyes? Those discolored cheeks? Why, they're amazingly gorgeous. My dearest Death Trap Wednesday uses the same powder. Alas, but that's all I could get her to use. She would not go for eyeshadow. She uses our oldest methods of burning a ceramic dish to create soot and rubs it on her eyes. It gives her the most corpse-like look. These brushes are made from chupacabra hair. You must have heard of chupacabra. Oh, alas, they went extinct approximately 17 years ago. However, I do have the most lovely preserved head in my collection. Yes. And all the hair that falls out is right here in this brush. Now, this powder will make sure that you look incredibly, sickeningly pale. Yes. You find it a little too bright in here. Do not worry. Oh, Lurch, cut the front lights, please. Thank you, darling. Well, another advantage of such amazingly deathly makeup is you can apply it in the dark and it will look the same. Would you be a darling and close your eyes just for a second? Mattifying your eyelids will bring out the bluest of veins. There we go. You do not want to put on too much. Wouldn't dream of covering your splotches. May I ask what they are from? I am guessing it is the flesh-eating bacteria originating from South Africa. Oh, of course I'm right. Uncle Fester taught me the best ways to recognize the most exotic diseases. Flesh-eating bacteria are my favorite. They are very glamorous looking, don't you think? There you go, my darling. You're looking adequately pale. And if you notice that your mood has been heightened, it's definitely due to the arsenic in this powder. Now, let's exaggerate those sunken-in cheeks. Nothing like a little shadow defying right under the cheekbones. Or I believe the kids these days call it contouring. Why, I have the most wonderful product. It is made from the blood of our dear Aunt Sally's corpse. Yes, and it has turned brown, mixed with the dirt from her grave. Why, she had the most magnificently hollow cheekbones. hearing all the wonderful noise thundering outside. You'll have to excuse it. That would be our Uncle Fester along with Grandmama, dragging our newest torture device out into the basement. What is it? Oh, why, it is the most marvelous iron cow. They were used at the beginning of the 18th century. The victim would be put inside and locked, and then a scorching fire would be lit under the cow's belly right where the victim is. The metal was slowly heat to an excruciating degree and boiled the victim alive inside. Oh, what an imaginative death, don't you think? Our ancestors will be so incredibly proud to know that we keep their traditions going. Now that you look starved, perhaps we need to make your eyes a little more sunken in, don't you think? To make sure that everybody knows they have enjoyed quite a few nightmares during the past few nights. I would ask you for permission to let me use quite the shimmering eyeshadows on you, but I know you enjoyed the torture, so I felt like I didn't need to. I knew it. Which one tickles your fancy the most? You do not like to be tickled. Do not worry. That was purely a rhetorical question. Oh, the black, of course. Should I have even needed to ask? Form an unimaginable squint. It would accentuate all the wrinkles around your eyes. Except for the crow's feet. We need to cover those up. We do not want anyone knowing that you are smiling, do we? Of course not. Don't you just love enjoying those mortifying screams from the electric chair? Uncle Fester is having fun ahead of all of us today, isn't he? Oh, speaking of torture, such a wonderful topic, I must warn you. My darling Wednesday has invited an acquaintance of hers on our special occasion. So I must warn you, she is not of an Addams descent. Actually, it is her roommate, back at Nevermore. Oh, of course Wednesday goes to Nevermore. It bring back such terrible memories. But back to my warning, her friend is rather colorful, and I mean that in the most terrible way. But I cannot wait for her to give Grandmama a conniption when she shows up at the door. I'm excited to such a wonderful sight. Also, Pugsley has been waiting to try out his newest defibrillator. Ah, yes. Uncle Fester gave it to him for his last birthday. It was stolen directly from the Willow Hill Hospital, from the psychiatric ward. How thoughtful of him. Oh, and it was used to revive a patient who has been a suspect of 17 different assaults. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, and that is just the beginning. The resuscitation failed, and he passed away. Let's hope that some of his spirit still hangs in that defibrillator. Pugsley has been complaining of a lack of hauntings. Devastating, I know. Hopefully that present will bring him a devastating spirit. Now that your eyes look appropriately hollowed out, it is time to give some attention to those wonderful spider eyelashes of yours. Please excuse the cold. I borrowed this from my local mortician friend. Oh, and Wednesday was also kind to provide some ink from her pet octopus Aristotle for my mascara. Now I will ask you to blink fast enough to give yourself a seizure. Blink, 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 darling, blink, 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 blink. Blink, 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 blink. Wonderful. Thick and clumpy, just the way I like it. Now, darling, would you like me to comb to your eyebrows? My dear Wednesday does not use any product. Oh. I am proud of how natural she wants to look. I know. She's our family's biggest disappointment. I could not be more proud. You're almost ready, darling. Now, let's finish off with some lipstick. Now, what look are you going for? If you're planning on dousing some blood pudding later, I suggest an almost clear lip gloss to make sure that the stain of the blood is very much apparent. Oh, why yes, it does smell like wolfsbane. Are you allergic, darling? Oh, I am sorry. Perhaps something else then. Are you going for more of a gently drowned corpse vibe? Maybe a tombstone grey will be something more of your tastes. I suppose the grey would not go with your dress well. Do not worry, I have plenty more options. Are you in a glossy vibe, dear? I have the most wonderful, stark black lip gloss made from necrotic tissue. You would prefer something matte, or more of a staying powder. Well, I have the most wonderful black lipstick for you. What am I wearing? Oh, one of my favorites, of course. Once again, excuse the gold, but beauty hurts, as they say. Isn't that such a wonderful saying? This is a lipstick called Rouge Noir. Do you like it? Of course, darling. I do not mind sharing. The more bacteria, the better. Doesn't it resemble the most incredible fresh hematoma? Why, yes. Now, you look like you have been feasting on coagulated blood. Isn't that so wonderful? Oh, speaking of thing, here he comes. Yes, my darling. Our guests have arrived, which means I must go. However, I am finished with your appearance. Do you like it? Please feel free to look in the mirror. And don't mind the handprints. Grandmama's mother's soul has been trapped in that mirror for decades. You might even see a glimpse of her sometime. Please let me know when you do. I would love to conduct a seance. Oh, why, of course, my darling. You're welcome to come back anytime you want. Now, shall we go and meet the rest of the guests? Of course. Have a wonderful time, my darling.